Are you perhaps looking to increase your self-esteem and or confidence? Well, today I wanted to talk about the difference of the two and the impact that can have on your mental health, on your well-being, and just going for what you want in life from my own experience. And if you stay until the very end, I have an extra point for you then as well. Now, if you want to connect even more, you can find my links in the show notes below. And also, I am offering a few spots limited for August for breathwork working one-on-one with me for a very reasonable offer, if that's something you want to dive into more as well. So that's in the show notes below as well. I had a friend talk about self-esteem and confidence, and actually someone approached me to do a paid talk about this coming up in September. And yeah, I feel great, that I'm able to offer value to communities and people invite me to do talks and things like that. And I felt like I wanted to talk about it on this episode today as well. And just like really compelled to share with you what I'm about to share with you in terms of the differences, because like for me, I'm not a know-it-all. I don't know everything about self-esteem and confidence. I started my very first podcast, the Self-Esteem and Confidence Mindset, just on my own experiences, and that's what I do. I create podcasts so I can share my experiences and what's worked for me and things I've tried, and have the privilege of having some great guests to share their stories as well. The thing is, I used to coach in this area quite a lot. And if I'm honest, I really enjoyed the people I worked with. They were fantastic human beings to work with one-on-one. Wonderful, wonderful, dedicated students, and got some great results. They did. Yeah, I felt, if I'm totally honest, I moved away from it a little bit because that type of coaching wasn't for me in the end. And I've been doing plenty of other things in business since that have allowed me to grow and enjoy myself, whilst of course creating podcasts to just share free value as well. And it's something I just like doing as a creative as well. And often people will be like, oh, I'm confident in this, but I just don't feel good about myself, or but I'm not confident in that area. And I've certainly been there. I've been in many places in my life where people are like, you come across as a very confident person, and we'll go into that. There's a difference between confidence and self-esteem. Yet inside, I was really down, really not feeling good about myself, hating myself in some instances, really, really negative self-talk. So that's why I felt it was really important to talk about a difference today, because not working on your self-esteem, not working on your confidence in certain areas just holds you back and doesn't make you feel so good about yourself. And maybe you can relate to this, and that's why you're listening to this episode today. Now, the difference, I'm going to give you my understanding of the difference from my studies, my research, and going through my own experiences. Then I'm going to give you a few points on each and how you improve both your self-esteem and confidence. So self-esteem for me is how much, I like to keep things simple. It is just simply how much do you like yourself as you. We're not talking about your skills, your abilities and things, your achievements. We're just talking about how much do you like you as you. Now, a lot of us struggle with this because we're conditioned, well, a lot by society to think we're missing something, we're comparing all the time, right? And yeah, I've had challenges in my life, even in the last 2 years, that have just been like, I need to work more in that area. Maybe I've got an insecurity there, right? And it's an ongoing process. And for me personally, the biggest test to self-esteem is the area of dating and intimate relationships, because nothing blows your insecurities out more than that. Like someone saying no to you, or someone walking away from you, or maybe someone really testing you in your life, and certainly been there many, many times. Obviously, other areas can bring it out as well. Now, again, it's a general thing, self-esteem. For me, it's about how much you like yourself as you. Confidence is slightly different. When someone says they don't have any confidence, I don't know what they mean, because that doesn't make sense to me. Confidence is your trust in your own ability, and that's specific to a situation. So if someone says they got no confidence, I'm like, in what? In nothing, which is a lie, because nobody has no confidence in nothing. It's like, well, how did you get dressed this morning? Well, I put my clothes on. Were you confident in doing that? Yeah, great. So you just told me you got no confidence, but you're confident putting clothes on. That was a silly example. What about your job? Oh, well, I'm confident in that, I just don't like it. Or maybe you do, right? Or your business, whatever. Well, again, you've got confidence in that. So confidence is just your trust in your abilities. Now, a lot of where I heard people come from in talking about a lack of confidence was lack of confidence in things like social events, like they get nervous being around other people. And that is specific. That's like, I lack the social skills. Now, to build your confidence, there's some things you can do to build your trust within inside yourself. But I'm always very clear, it does not make sense when someone just says, I have no confidence in anything, because that's not true. Because, yeah, you wouldn't be able to function or do anything if you had no confidence, even if they're silly little examples, because we often focus on negatives and the absences. So I'm going to go through some points with you now on how to build both. So self-esteem, let's go through a few points on that, and then how you can build confidence in a certain skill or something you want to develop. The first one, spend some time with you doing what you love, because and not what other people think you should do or you think you should be doing, what you genuinely love. Because the more you work on you, the more, or do what you love, the more you're committing to yourself and giving yourself that love and attention. So that's the first thing. The second thing is make time every single day to just tell yourself you love you, right? It may be hard at first and people are like, oh, it's too hard, I can't do it. And they've like tried it for 2 days. That's stupid, right? Trying something for 2 days and then just giving up on it is not smart, right? So I'm very passionate about this, as you can tell, because I like to call people out on rubbish. It's like, oh, okay, right, it's the equivalent. If you go to the mirror a couple of times or a few times and say you love you, and you've had a lifetime of not doing that and struggling, and then you're like, oh, it's not working. That's the equivalent. If you're looking to lose some weight and then you run a couple of times, you're like, well, I've not got like a 6-pack yet. So it's not a quick fix. It's a thing you've got to do consistently. Now, as human beings, we're capable of doing things consistently. Are they the right things for you? Not necessarily. So that's what I'm going to share on that. The next one is recall all the awesome things about you. Now, I gave some silly examples earlier, like your ability to maybe drive or do your job. Just write down as many things as possible that you did, even if it was like, I got up on time today, I had a cold shower, I went to the gym, I went for a walk. Find 5 minutes to write down as many things that's you've achieved, because that will get the brain firing away looking for the good stuff. And if you do that for a week, for 5 minutes a day, and then after that keep looking at your list, that's going to get your brain focused. Our brain is often not focused, in my experience, where you ideally want it, and it's very unconscious. So by consciously writing down the awesome stuff about you and then focusing again and again, that can really help. Okay, so confidence. How do you build your confidence specific in a way, right? So the first thing is to celebrate every time you take action, not the outcome. Obviously, if you get the outcome you want, you celebrate again. Celebrating no matter what the outcome is, right? So if you go and have a tricky conversation, and don't compare yourself to others, remember, like I used to be nervous to even ask someone a question via email, right? If they were like, I perceived them to be senior to me or whatever. And then I remember starting to feel really good when I'd even like send one email, right? And that made me more confident. As crazy as it sounds, and I built up from there, built up my public speaking, all these kind of things. So celebrate no matter what you do. Here's another example. I do Toastmasters sometimes. I haven't done it for a while, admittedly. It's a public speaking forum, really good if you're looking to build. And I hear a lot of rubbish. Well, sorry, not rubbish as in their speeches, a lot of rubbish in terms of excuses when people come for the first or second time and say, oh, I'm just going to wait until next time. No, that's just fear. And fear comes up with lots of excuses. Yet I've seen people have a go, and they were nervous as anything, so that I, for 10 seconds, really struggled. Do you know what? I was like, you got to celebrate that. You went up there and took action. right? And if you go back thinking, oh, that was awful, I'm terrible, what are the chances you're going to do it again? Not very likely, right? So if you celebrate, that's going to encourage you to do more of it. The next one, what challenges have you overcome? Because the more you can remind yourself of things it's similar to my self-esteem point on recalling the awesomeness, but looking at things you've overcome. Because often we're like, oh, this is too hard to overcome. And then we forget that we pass exams, we learn to drive, all these kind of things. So reminding of a few things you've overcome. Again, it's about getting your brain focused in that way. You could combine this with the other exercise if you like, about the awesome stuff about you. What have you overcome? Because again, that's going to increase your confidence and your self-esteem. Remind yourself you have overcome things. So therefore, if it's a difficult skill, something you're trying to build confidence in, trust in your ability, you can do it as well. And then the final one, do something small each day / each week towards where you want to go. Don't have to be massive. It could just be like I said in Toastmasters, 10 seconds of standing up in front of people. It could be volunteering on a Zoom meeting or Microsoft Teams or Google Meet virtually to just say something or even ask a question. Do something small each day or week to really push out your comfort zone a little bit. Doesn't have to be massive. And then again, it goes back to celebrating that no matter what. So those are my points on building self-esteem and confidence. Got a final one for you that I'll wrap up with. I want to mention again now, if you want to connect with me on social media, my links are below. And if you're looking to dive into the area of breathwork, I now offer one-to-one sessions and have a very reasonable offer for you in August on that one, which you can find out more in that link below as well. We can really go deep and clear out and express things you need to out of your system. Okay, so the final one is a very simple concept. Stop hanging out with people low in self-esteem and confidence and start hanging out with more people who believe in themselves. I talk about this a lot, yet I repeat things a lot for a reason, so it sinks in. The more we hear things, the more it's likely to stick in. Hanging out with people is your environment affects you, right? So if you're hanging out with people who don't believe in themselves, they feel bad, that's going to rub off on you. You're not going to feel so good. Yet, if you start hanging out with people who believe in themselves, they're go-getters, that's going to rub off on you as well. I have some very great mentors, some very wealthy, when I say wealthy in multiple aspects, their health, their happiness, and their money. And actually even having conversations and regular group calls with these guys rubs off on me and really builds my confidence. Energy is contagious, even online as well. So start hanging out with people who you perceive to be highly confident and high in their self-esteem. So having high self-esteem is not about putting others down. It's about loving yourself. Okay. So that's what I've got for you today. I appreciate you for being here. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.